go to the page too. Okay.
All right, we should be live. How's it going, everybody? Welcome again to Active Reload, episode number 3. Tonight, I have joining me once again Fatal Strike and Immortal Spawn. In Arctic's place, we have Skyless, as I'm sure many of you know, a right-hand man over at Amazing and anything they do. And we have Yogurt from SYN. And I'm going to kick it off a little bit talking about PAX East and our experience there, how we thought execution was. I know it was just me and Fatal Strike there, so we're going to be doing most of the talking, but Fatal, if you got some stuff to say, go ahead.
Well, I mean, this is my first PAX. I'm usually a big tournament guy. Just go to tournaments, play, compete, couple casting jobs here and there, and then usually that's it for me. But I don't know. I was talking to everyone. Everyone was saying that, Fatal, you should go to a PAX. You should go network a little bit, get to know some people, get to know the industry better if you want to get into that. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'll switch it up this time. So went with a couple girlfriends, roomed up there, had a great time, met the guys from Epic. So obviously I knew Pete Nub already. I met him at Hype 2. But for the first time I got to meet Ragzilla, and man, dude, what an awesome guy. He was really great the entire time. Had a great time talking to him. Had great talks with him. Had great talks with Pete. I don't know if you saw GameSpot's like little interview they did with Pete, but that went well. And then he was talking about, esports for Gears a lot, and then how Epic's going to be trying to help out a lot more than usual with trying to promote it even further. So I thought that was really cool, and he was really open to my feedback. Both of them, like they were constantly. The second I hopped off a station, they were like, "Okay, well, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? Like if something was done to make this more balanced, how would that be? Like without getting into all the, particulars." And then me and you played the 2v2 tournament. We won that. That was fun. That was a good time. And then I played in the free-for-all tournament. Played some of the guys from Rob's team there. It was a good time. And then made it to the finals and then lost to this unsung hero, this guy named Gibbs, who was really good. He was on fire when I played him in the finals. So shout out to him. And then, yeah, that was pretty much it. Just met bunch of people from a bunch of the different companies I wanted to network with, and that's pretty much it for me.
Okay. For me, I mean, it was really just going there. I wanted to mainly check out execution, and that's pretty much what I'm going to talk about right now. We got to play just, typical execution on Haven, I think
Yeah,
it was.
It was Haven. We
Yeah,
played
Haven.
Haven. Yep.
Haven, it's a kind of snowy map. It didn't really remind me of any past Gears maps, but it was good. It worked really well. It was pretty balanced.
I think the most interesting thing about Haven when we were playing on it and when we were just, going in on it was the setup. Like Haven is a lot more close quarters and has a lot of places where you can get into some insane shotgun battles and just some like really crazy situations. The map is set up a little differently than your traditional Gears map. It kind of, in a weird way, almost reminds me of Canals because you automatically can pick up 2 weapons, one for each side. On one side of the map, you have to go a little bit out of ways to get it, but the other team's not going to beat you there. You can get a Bushka, and then there's a couple ammo crates you can grab. And the ammo crates, by the way, for the stream, they don't affect your power weapons. They only affect the weapons you spawn with. And then on the other side of the map, for the other team that's spawning for the red side, they go and they're able to pick up a torque bow. And then in the middle of the map, where everyone's fighting, you got a digger in this like central closed area, and then on the outskirts there's a breach shot that you can go for if you want. So a lot of the battles that we saw taking place when we were playing Kenny, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like everyone was going hard trying to get that breach shot. Like they were just going crazy. Like the most people weren't even bothering to go for the torque or the Bushka right away in the beginning because they were just playing so hard for the breach shot. It just seemed like a weapon that everyone was trying to pick up. So that's pretty much what was happening when we were playing it most of the time.
Yeah, it looked really well. I mean, I thought it played great for execution. I see it working for TDM too. The only one I don't know if it would work is Domination because it really all depends on where they put the hills.
Yeah.
But it looks like it could work for that too, honestly. It looks like one of the better maps out of all the ones we have, even though it's not many.
Yep.
All right, Kat, that's cool. You can climb my chair. Anyway. The only concerns I really had with execution, because I don't know if everybody knows, you only get smoke and spotter nades. You don't get all the nades. so it's one or the other.
And the
Yeah.
other thing is also is a lot of people that are playing TDM right now. They got this big issue because you're spawning with 2 grenades, so it's like 2 spots or 2 smokes. In execution, you only spawn with 1 of each, boys and girls. So it's either you get 1 smoke for yourself or 1 spot, and that's it. Most teams seem to be running 2s and 2s, so
Oh,
that was a very common thing we saw.
I thought it was 2 smokes you get in execution.
You sure? I
Yeah,
only had 1
well,
smoke every time when I was playing it, unless I'm going crazy.
I could be wrong too. I just that's what I thought.
Yeah, unless I'm going crazy. I mean, I got some video footage on my camera, so I'll go back and look at it. But
Okay.
I just haven't posted yet because the guys from Epic said specifically to me, they were like, yeah, if you could refrain from posting anything until the actual April 2nd, we would appreciate it. So I'm not going to post anything, but I'll go back and look. I'm 99.9% positive that's 1 smoke, 1 spot. That was like the biggest thing to me. I was like, oh wow, I only have 1 of these. I was like,
Yeah.
this is different. Like, this is really different. And I think I tweeted it out a couple times too. So unless I'm going crazy.
I think it makes sense definitely for execution.
Yeah.
Having 2 smokes seems a little much. I mean, I think 1, especially with ammo boxes now, how you can refill.
Yep.
You don't need more than 1. I have a
Yep.
question with Haven. Is there a lot of, I guess, vertical play with dropping off buildings and
Only
ramps or
one
anything like
area.
that?
Everything on the map is pretty much even. There's
Yeah.
one area where basically like to give you like a rundown of the map. Like, imagine that there's like a picture. I guess kind of picture canals in a way. I guess it's the easiest way to kind of
Okay.
say it. You know, like canals, how you have mid bridge. Obviously, the mid bridge is higher than where the Boltok of the Hammerburst was in Gal 1, right? Picture
Yeah.
the map completely like just stretched out, and then where the Hammerburst was is where the breach shot is, and the elevated area that where like high side is, that's where there's a digger, and it's 2 floors. So you could drop down to where the digger is and fight from the bottom, or you can go to the top level. So that whole area where the digger is, it's like a circular area where there's a lot of fights that go on, and you can jump down on certain parts of it. So
Okay.
that's basically what's going on. And then you have you have a slightly open area of the map where there's two basically walls where everyone's crossfiring each other. They can make pushes, organize smokes, and things like that. But it gets crazy. Most of the fight, from what we were playing, seemed to be going on down at the digger and the the breach shot. And since it was 5v5, technically every once in a while you'd see a player go for torque or go for the bushka, and then one player would do that while the other 4 were organizing the main fight towards the center of the map. That's what seemed to be happening most of the time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any big clutches on stage in that execution
I
exhibition?
I had a match where I was playing with a couple of my viewers, and then a couple other guys that I literally met at the Unveil gaming booth. And then I basically like started rallying up people and then being like, hey, you want to come play execution, or I'd cross advertise and be like, hey, you want to go play at the Unveil booth? There's a tournament going over there, and just try to like build both of them up. So some of the guys that I introduced to the Unveil gaming booth, they unfortunately they lost on in the 2v2, but they did well. They made it through a few rounds in. They were pretty good. They were teaming up with me, and we were playing against some of the guys from GCon, T101, Matt, a few others. So they had like a full 5 going on, and we were playing against them, and they were beating us. We were playing first. I think we were playing first to 5. It was like the last match of the day or whatever, and they were beating us 4-2. And then I don't know, we all went off. We just brought it back, and then on the last round, I think we had me and one of the guys guys I met. We had a 2v4. We clutched it for the win, and Pete was standing right behind me, so that was pretty fun. That was
As
like
long as Pete saw it. If Pete didn't see that, didn't matter.
Huh? No, Pete saw it. Pete saw it. My man was right behind me. But yeah, it was a good time. We had a lot of fun.
Did you guys I know you were kind of recruiting and trying to get people interested in the game. What was like the overall outcome of the booth itself? I mean, would you say there was new players coming on and checking out Gears for the first time? Were people entertained watching in general? I'm just curious of the atmosphere. Or was it mostly Gears people that you're familiar with?
Yeah, there was a lot of new people going in. I was saying it. I think it was Saturday. Yeah, when we were waiting to do the execution, and even afterwards, you would be standing outside the ropes, just watching everybody on the stations, and you'd see all these people playing, and you could tell right off the bat they've never played Gears in their life, because you see them just walking around, not even roadie running, no taking cover, just like spraying rifles all over the place, so completely lost and confused. And it was funny to watch because it was like watching somebody who's never played a game like Gears hop on there and just lost puppy. Like they had no idea what was going on.
Yeah.
It was
Painful.
great. Yeah, oh yeah, it was so
That's
painful to
painful, yeah,
watch.
it's
So
funny.
painful because you see people just like walking at each other
Yeah.
and shooting straight at each other, like no tactics at all.
Just show
It-
them how to wall bounce in real life, and then it just kind of works from there.
It was funny.
There were some people though that were pretty damn good, surprisingly. Like I don't think you knew any of them, Kenny. These guys are really really old school. But like some of the I used to play at a LAN center called Clan back in the day. It was like the first place I ever played at. Rob, I think I saw you there one time, way
No.
back in the day. We
It's
chilled
in
there.
New York City, right?
Yeah. That little LAN center
Yeah.
we all used to go to before MLG came around. Well,
Yep.
some of the old school guys like One Shot Kill, Jackal, Chaos, like all of them were there. So it was cool to see them. For the first time in like 5 years. These guys like they haven't played in ages. So to see them there was awesome. Prodigy X was there.
A lot of Empire Arcadia used to hang out at that place.
Yeah, that's what I used to be a part of way
Yeah.
back in the day. Yep. So we were all hanging out. They were all getting back into the game and playing. Who else was there? I got to see Gold Glove. Gold Glove was really cool. He was really nice. So I talked to him for a while. And then you had like all the YouTubers. Like there was 4 of them. Like Butter, who I'm sure you're familiar with, was there. Iceman was also there. And then they had Yamimash, who's another big YouTuber. I think he's got a lot of subscribers. And Landon One. And Yamimash flew out from Europe to come to PAX. So it was really cool just to meet all of them, see like Butter and them again, and then just they were nothing but nice to me the entire time. So everyone was just honestly there to play Gears, have a great time, and then just say their opinions about the game, see what other people have to say, and then some people would occasionally ask me like little basic tips and things like that. But that was pretty much it.
Nice.
That's cool. So I mean, with how execution was and how it played out, I mean, from what we described, how does everybody feel it's going to work competitively, and like what maps do you even see it working on right now?
It depends. I'm assuming we're all talking default as possible, right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
all default. If you're talking all default and you're talking execution, obviously from playing it, I think Haven works. Other maps, library, I don't know. It's gonna
Oh yeah, it's gonna be tough. Like
it's gonna be tough.
The problem
With
with
that.
library is the cog team spawns right in front of a boom shot and a breach shot,
Yep.
so you get to pick up both right away.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
true. And like the issue is, although you can fight over that boom, with if you have your squad roll out with the appropriate nades, whether it be 2 smokes, 2 frags, or whatever, you can fight for that boom. But the problem is, it's every single time is going to be a fight at boom, like right off the bat. So that's
Mhm.
like that's not really what we want out of execution. We kind of want there to be different strategies, and let's do a 2-2 this time or a 3-1 this time. But I seriously see that boom's dead center. It's just going to be the same thing every time, and
And someone
I really
gets-
can't see library.
I mean,
Being
someone
great.
gets a perfect spawn at staircase, and the way we've been doing it is just like whoever's first, just straight up pick up boom right in front of them, and it's been
Yeah.
working every time. So
And not only that, you could just stim him if you. I mean, if you really want to get nerdy with it, you could just
Yeah.
stim him.
Well, let's not
Oh.
forget the execution rules were
Oh, that's right.
spots
I'm
and
sorry.
smokes, right?
Correct. I'm thinking.
So, it's going to be a smoke fest at the boom
it's gonna
immediately.
be really hard to use smokes to stop them.
But yeah, I just don't
honestly.
see anything. I don't see any other viable strat. I mean, you're getting boomed right away. That's where the fight's going to be. So,
Yeah.
That was like
yeah.
a question I had about Haven was, you think one team spawns closer to power weapons?
Well, both teams on
Yeah, maybe the spawn's different. That's a question.
the spawn on Haven, both sides where you spawned was pretty even. You could literally where all 5 of you spawned, 3 of you spawned in one little spot, and then 2 of you spawned in the other little spot. And literally what would happen is the guys that spawned in the group of 2, they would push for either, if they were on Torque's side, excuse me, I'm a little sick, they would push over to Torque. And then the guys on the other side would just have maybe one of their guys push to Bushka and the other one go to Digger. So those 2 from each team would be focused on each power weapon that's on their side and then the Digger. That was what seemed to be
Yeah.
happening.
What
And then
if
everyone else was going towards the middle for that breach shot.
library stayed the same default settings, but if it's possible, and this may already be in the plan, I'm not sure. The 2 spawns for red and blue are one is in the digger room, kind of like toward where the secret door is, somewhere
Yeah,
over
Hill
there. and
Hill.
the other spawn is where the pillars are, where the hill is. That way, you're on both sides. Boom's in the center. You can kind of either make a play toward Boom. You got Snipe all the way in the corner. You got Breach Shot on the other side. You got Boom in the middle. If the dynamic of the map was spread like that, you would have more strategies involved with crosses and the middle library and things like that. It could play out pretty good.
The way you're explaining it right now is very similar to the way that Haven set up. In regards to library, right now, I just feel like that side, like Yogurt was saying earlier, that spawns right by that breach shot. I feel like nine out of ten times they're getting that boom.
It's unfair with Karen spawns. Yeah, I agree.
I just, as of right now, unless we see changes, that's why we're testing. We're testing to give Epic our feedback and try to make the maps more balanced. But as of right now, I really think that's how it's looking. What do you guys think about Streets? How do you feel about that?
Streets looks good. For at least for execution. The only thing I see that might be a problem, I guess, is say a team of Marxes taking on the roof, and then I mean, how do you really fight that?
Yeah,
And that hasn't happened to me yet, but that sounds crazy.
I've seen when people run 5 marks on ranked, and how disgusting it is on that map. But if they run only 1, it's not so bad. But then again, having us tell a team you could have 1 of this weapon and only this many of this weapon, that's going to be an issue.
Yeah.
The one thing we noticed, Kenny, when we were playing in the 2v2 tournament, I know it was only 2v2, but a lot of people seem to play for the explosives, like Bushka and Torque. And all we did, where we were like, okay, well, you want to play for that? We're just going to headshot you. We're just going to go pick up Snipe. And then we would pick up Snipe. I'd grab one, Kenny'd grab the other, and then we just angle them out and get headshots all day. That's what we were doing literally the entire time. But trying to do that in a 4v4, that's completely different. So I don't think the map, if you have a really, really good sniper, will be able to play out that easily for you. I think it's going to be a lot more based on, the power weapons and the incense. The incense are huge. So I don't know. I think Streets has potential. I think Streets has potential and Haven has potential. The other maps, I really don't know yet, and we don't even know what other 2 maps we're getting in this DLC that's coming out. So,
we have no idea, and then supposedly they're not even close to done with game types. I mean, that's what it looks like.
In regards to what we do know publicly, what we do know publicly is that we have this DLC that's going to come out, and this DLC is going to drop with execution, and then we know we're going to get 2 other game types, but we have no idea what they are. And I don't know if you guys saw the video, but Iceman found that video of like the leftover code you were saying, Skyless, and Pete confirmed it. So after seeing that video, the Warzone video, that it was like part of the game or whatever, that glitched version of it, well, we know that's not one of the game types. So now that we know that there's no Warzone, so that's a good thing, because if that happened, I don't know, I'd be doing one of these.
That'd be rough.
But at least it's not that. So then, in regards to other game types, I don't know. maybe it's a casual game mode like Horde or Guardian or something, or maybe we can get a game type that we could use competitively, like a bomb game type or something like that. So we'll see. Who knows? Well, it's so hard to say until April 2nd.
Like bombs.
Did you guys see that video where you can glitch your lobby and it goes into Warzone? I don't know if that's going to be one of the game types, but
that's what I was just speaking
That's
about.
what he was just saying.
Rewind.
Yeah, that's what I was just literally talking about. Iceman made a video. He had a friend who found out that you can hit A and B and glitch to do Warzone on TDM, but apparently that's just leftover code. It's a glitched version. I mean, if it was Warzone anyway, technically wouldn't there be DBNO? Because you get downed first.
Well, you would think.
Go revive you. Like, you didn't even get downed in the game type. It was like a mix.
It was just TDM pretty much.
It was like a baby between TDM and a wannabe Warzone. So.
Not to backtrack, what was Down But Not Out like in execution when you played it?
Fantastic. Everything was working right. Never was any issues. Explosives still killed you when you were down. Pistol headshots don't work. Like, if you remember in GAU 2, you get a DBNO, you'd knock him down, and then everyone would be like, "Oh, cross pistol fire, get this kid out," and then you try to cross him up and then get the kill. But that didn't happen. So you couldn't pistol his head off. You could use like torque bows or weapons like that to clean up the kill.
Executions and such. What about those?
Honestly, I didn't
notice
go
it.
crazy with executions.
You Y button at all?
So much on the specs. Yeah, I know, it sucks.
Yeah.
No Y buttoning?
No, I didn't.
I
From
didn't
all the
even try.
playing, yeah, I didn't really
You
see
didn't think about it?
executions. I didn't see anybody.
You didn't see
Doing
any
it.
meat
Score your
shields.
execution?
No,
Yeah,
I
no,
didn't notice meat shields either. I just think like everybody was just playing, running and getting
Oh
kills.
yeah,
Nobody,
meat shields.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah,
yeah.
because
We
the
gotta find that
the
out.
Lancers
Someone
and
confirm.
the Nash are meat shields.
I think it was B to execution.
Yeah, Pete
I
just
don't know
said
if
in the
that's
chat,
correct.
Y button is on B.
Okay, so that was right. Okay, so B was to do the executions. No,
What's up,
they're still
people?
there. I just wasn't using them myself. I was just focusing on whatchamacallit, just the task at hand, just killing the other team. Because we were only on for one round for most of the time until the very, very end of the day.
Yeah.
So and then you can meat shield. Pete just said in the chat you can meat shield with any weapon. So obviously the meat shields are still there. So that's a big factor.
What happens if this is ever possible? I'm not sure. What happens when you meat shield someone, and then you tag them with a stim and kick them?
Oh,
You get
Oh, yeah.
Jesus, you're thinking too deep right now.
Well, here's the thing. Technically, if we're talking about execution, that can't happen. No,
no, I
stim.
know. I'm thinking outside the box.
Yeah,
But spot grenade would be sweet.
but kicking a spot grenade over to their side
Yeah.
would be interesting. I guess spot
You
doesn't blow up till it
can
makes it
tag
over.
with spots. You can tag people with spot grenades, so I'm assuming you could do that.
Yep,
Okay.
yep. So that's
All right.
one thing.
So streets were Colin, how do you feel about streets? Do you
Streets
have
played
thoughts on it for
fantastic when we
execution
were
straight
playing.
up?
I thought it played out really
Oh, Colin,
well.
you're on mute. You're on mute.
There we go. Streets is fantastic. I think that if you lose the rooftops, it's your own damn fault. You deserve to be punished until the other team can get you out. So, especially in execution, where there's really no reason you should just lose the rooftops and then be stuck trying to get back up. So, I think it's probably by far the best map. Gondola is basically escalation for execution.
Yeah, let's talk about Gondola. Go ahead.
It's uphill battle, so I don't think it'll work very well. We played a few matches while we were doing the playtest. It was TDM, but because the gameplay slowed way down and people were just camping up top, it kind of played out like execution. And it was like remember how bad maps in Gears 2 and Gears 3 you have to sit there and just grab power ups for 2 or 3 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
It was like that every single time. And then you would throw up a spot grenade, throw up all your grenades, and then push. And it was just really boring. You couldn't really do anything against the top position until you gathered everything on the map. So I don't see that working. It's basically escalation to me.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I see
I
that. That
think-
makes sense.
I don't know. Yeah, we touched on it. They replaced the mortar with torque last week. I'm thinking of the current power weapons on that map, how they would even fare. You got Bushka downstairs. You got torque on the roof. Digger on the roof. Scorcher is also on that map. Is that it? There's no snipe, is there?
Yeah, there's a snipe.
There's a
It's
breach
very-
shot on bottom left
There's a
Oh
side.
snipe.
God, there's a
looking from the
breach.
bottom,
There's
looking up top.
That's a crazy map. It's got it
And
all.
the snipe up top. Yeah.
Yep, and the snipes
It's
in
like
the center.
at
up
least
top.
two of your team, at least two of your four should have a power weapon on that map. Jeez.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
it's
chasing
not
chasing people down would be really painful.
yeah.
Yeah.
that bad on domination. I've played it a few times because you have to go towards hills to win, so you can't really
Yeah.
just sit in one spot.
Yeah,
with power
domination
weapons.
definitely improves the speed of the game. It makes you have to move. I mean, if you want to win the game, you have to be moving. So it's definitely a great game type to speed up gears.
Which is why if there was a bomb game type, it would work out a lot better in execution.
Oh yeah.
Wink, wink.
I'm just gonna
Hopefully-
hammer it home.
we can only wish.
Over here that we get one.
Just hammer it home.
I
Alright.
feel like if we did get that hypothetically, then a lot of maps that we can't play for execution, we can make hopefully work with that.
Yeah.
So, but
It shrinks
that
the maps, it shrinks the maps down to those sites. And
Yep.
that's, which I
that, that does it, and so obviously domination is going to help a little bit with that as well. What game types do you? What maps do you feel you guys that domination could work on?
We wanted to
ones
hit
you're
Rig,
very confident
and
on.
Rig was the last map.
I don't like Rig at all.
fuck
I just-
Rick.
Yeah, me either.
I
You
just
guys
I
are
don't.
all Rig haters. All right. Well, guess what? I'm gonna stand up for Rig right now
Oh god.
Rig's my boy.
That chopper is
Because-
a game changer. Is what I was about to say.
because the first day I played the game, I was a big hater, man. I was hating on Rig, and I don't know execution. Obviously, I'm not really sure. I'm thinking about the spawns right now. It's gonna be a push at boom. Just trying to plan out how the round starts at this moment. But you know what? Domination has played pretty fun for me on Rig. Like I think it's a good domination map. The hills are spread out far enough. You got to control them. You got to stay on top of the power weapons. I like it for domination, but I actually prefer Rig than Gondola for domination. If I had to pick three.
Okay. I mean, I haven't seen enough of Rig. I really haven't. I've especially domination. Like that's the one game type I do not play enough of on Dom, and I've not really watched any scrims of Rig domination. I want to. I want to try and get in, spectate a few, maybe even playing some. Really see how it works. But
Yeah.
I definitely don't like it for TDM, and there's no way in hell it's gonna work for execution.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Rig on dominate on anything but domination is not going to work. I feel like the only game type on Rig that can work as of right now, possibly, and we'll see once people start getting into it more, is going to be domination for Rig. That's it. At least for that map. No way TDM, no way execution as of right now.
Mhm.
It's really hard to say. The
I think it's hard to say for execution, but I don't know.
Yeah, well, we haven't officially played it, but we've seen how it plays out at a TDM at least. So
I mean,
execution's like a shorter version of TDM.
the difference is you go down. You can get revived. I mean, if you're talking about people, pouring from far away with ranged weapons and stuff, I mean, you'll be able to get revived and stuff. You can definitely advance to an area of the map and press people through all the different corridors and stuff. So I don't know. It might be playable. But I feel you on TDM though. It stinks. Too many Marskas and stuff.
So looking at what we see so far, we all feel that with streets, execution's a possibility, domination's a possibility. In regards of Rig, domination's a possibility on that map. In regards of Haven, what are we saying? TDM and execution, or just execution as of right now is a possibility?
I can't really.
Yeah,
all three
I
are a
can't say.
possibility until you
All
guys
three are
play more.
As far as I'm
possibilities, right, on
concerned,
Haven.
they're
I
all
mean,
possibilities.
Haven to me played out well. So anything on Haven could be tested. In regards of what else do we got? We got Gondola. The only thing as of right now, well, we can't say execution because we haven't played it on it yet. But the only thing we could say for Gondola is what I'm sorry, almost said King of the Hill. Domination, right? And then in
Right.
regards to our last map, Library, do we even have anything that works on that map? Dom, maybe.
I like TDM and Dom on that map,
You like-
honestly.
You like both? You just don't like execution because of the idea that someone could just get a boop shot immediately.
Yeah, I think the spawns have to change
Well-
if it's execution, or the swaps have to change.
Okay.
Either way,
Something
the
has
boom
to change
shot.
for execution.
Either way, how they get the boom shot is kind of stupid to me.
Yeah. So I mean, maybe like a flip spawn, like the way they run the spawns or whatever we can do for that. But I guess then in regards of game types, though, I mean, we still got a little bit to play with right now to test, and then keep in mind we're getting another map and 2 other game types. So once DLC 1 comes out, we'll be pretty good. And we don't know too much about DLC 2 yet, but whenever something comes out for that publicly, then we'll know what's going on with that.
Okay, now I want to change topics here, and that's why I wanted people like Immortal Spawn and Yogurt in on this tonight. Now, after a week of basically scrimming, what do you guys see that you think should be tweaked? I know the big topics for that are basically the stim grenades and the smoke grenades. So I want to see what you guys have to think with that. Yogurt, if you want to start it off, because I know you have an absolute hate for stims.
Oh yeah, stims are horrible in my opinion. But since we've been scrimming, everything else really has been working out. Like all the starting rifles, all the other nades, it really haven't annoyed me. It's just the stems. And I mean, I saw people on Twitter complaining about the melee. So I don't know. I mean, I think if you keep your distance, it's not really big of a problem. But there's going to be a lot more two-piecing than, in the other gals. Because you melee so fast,
Yeah. That's,
Melee quick. I mean, you're supposed to be punished if you get that close to somebody. That's the idea. And another reason why the melee is strong is if you don't want to roll with a shotgun, because keep in mind, people do that. Not everyone rolls with a shotgun. You have to have a way to counter the shotgun in some way. So
Mhm.
you need to use your
Yeah.
movement and the ability to melee to counteract the fact that you're not rolling with a shotgun. Now, you have a shotgun, you should still win the fight. If you're missing your shots, that's on you. You're rolling with the close combat starting weapon, so that's your decision. You have the advantage in a close combat game, whether I have a Markscar or a Lancer or a Hammerburst, you always have the advantage. So when I say you, I mean anybody. I'm not coming at you, Yogurt.
It's
The
all right,
fact
man.
is, the melee is it is what it is. I mean,
In the entire weekend of playing at PAX, I think I died to someone using a melee probably maybe 5 times.
it does
Out
what
of
it's
playing,
supposed to do.
out of playing for 3 days straight. If you put yourself in a situation where you're trying to play for a one shot, then yes, you're probably going to get meleeed. If you play smart, play to the numbers, do some bait and switches on the guys you're trying to take out, then you won't get meleeed as much. Is the two piece back? Well, yeah, obviously. I mean, we talked about it last week. We haven't seen the two piece in this fashion since what, Gears of War 1. So can it be frustrating? Definitely, it definitely can be frustrating. And I see Kenny talking about yeah. Well, obviously you would say that, Kenny. But yeah, in regards to in regards to playing, it can be avoided, and at the same time, there are ways to possibly counter it. If someone melees you, seems for the most part what people are doing is they're trying to melee back. Can they implement something to maybe counteract that a little bit? I mean, in Gal 1, what they did, remember, they had the two piece and then they added in where you just, if you shoot them, they get stunned. I don't know if that, I'm not saying they have to do anything in regards to that, but all I'm saying is that there are ways to avoid it, and it's up to Epic, but if they ever do anything to make it not as crazy, then maybe that's an option for something that they could do in the future. Who knows? We'll see.
Yeah.
On the topic,
Oh,
go ahead.
Okay. Personally, that was an idea I liked. The melee stun. I really think that they should look into doing that because the melee is crazy strong right now. It's not OP at all, but it is a little ridiculous to be able to just go right for a melee and just melee and he's dead. I
Yeah, the
don't.
double melee is, I mean, it's
Yeah.
insane. I mean, it's an actual tactic.
I don't
I'm
like
thinking
seeing it.
about.
It's bad to watch from a viewer standpoint. It just looks silly because you get into a good fight, a guy just gets off a melee. Not to mention, after a guy melees, the melee will still hit. He'll swing and the elbow will stop, and then he'll walk into you, and it still goes off. And I've seen times where a guy melees and there's like a foot in between me and the player, and it still hits me. Like it's odd.
Yeah, that's true.
The thing is in the games though, in Gears 1, Gears 2, and Gears 3, when we played at tournaments, we didn't really care so much in Gal 1 because I'm sure all of you remember, especially all of us pretty much were playing back then. When someone meleeed you on land, we didn't care because you always got that shot off. So someone would melee you, and before online, they can get that shot off every single time. But when they played on land, you could not get that shot. They would not be able to get the two piece off fully. You'd get the hit, then all of a sudden the other guy would shoot you in the face. Most of the time you would die. So if you went for two pieces on land, you were not rewarded competitively when money was on the line. And that was the big deal. Like everyone was like, okay, well, you can go for all the melees you want in the online tournaments, but when the money's on the line and we're playing, it's not going to mean anything. But it is confirmed that the two piece does work on land. It does. I did it to other people. A few times I died by it. Is it frustrating? Yes, but it does work. So if you think for a second that it doesn't, sorry to burst your bubble, but that's not the case. So it does work.
No, yeah, it definitely does work. I saw it at PAX over the weekend. When we were doing that 2v2 tournament, kids would come at you with a shotgun and they would just go for the melee right away, and it did work every time. So
Yep, we just try to stay back.
in fact, it probably works better on land because there's no lag, so it's smoother and it connects better. I mean, you don't trade really. I see a lot of times online, like I'll melee a kid, he'll get stunned, and I'll go for the shot, and because of the connection, we'll trade. Somehow he'll get a shot off when I shoot. And that's just typical lag. That's just what it is. But on land, I didn't see that happening at all. It was pretty much if you got meleeed and stunned, you were dead every time.
Is anyone aware of different timing with the swings depending on the gun you have and also the range of the melee? I think this was a factor in Gal 2 with some of the power weapons. You swang a little slower. Is that a word? With the boom shot, and with the pistol right now, I'll just say it takes 3 melees with the pistol. So, I was curious, is it faster to swing with? Can I hit you as far away? So I'm not sure. All I can say is the pistol takes 3 swings to kill someone, and all the other guns take 2. But I don't know if there's a reach depending on what gun you're holding.
What was it? Gal 1, that happened. So Gal 1, like the sniper, the melee, always felt like it was a little bit longer.
Yeah.
You guys remember that? Like, you'd be like, oh, what the hell? Like, how'd he hit me? Like, and then you'd have someone like Genesis flying at you, in a 1v2 situation, he just melee you from super far away and snipe your face off or something. It was the worst.
Yeah.
When you're on the other side of it, at least when you're on his team, it's awesome because then you're just like, yeah, this is great. But yeah. So in regards to that, yeah, no, I do understand where you're coming from. I do see slightly different times. I haven't been meleeing too much, but I guess I should start doing it more to break it down more. But I have noticed with bigger power weapons, the range is a little bit more, and sometimes the speed of the weapon is slightly different. But I haven't been able to really analyze
Yeah, I'm
it.
not sure. It was just it was a question for me. I have no idea.
I
But
noticed it a little bit, not a
Yeah,
lot.
I'm not sure if it's like what I was talking about, how sometimes the guy melees and there's that space in between you, so everything has the same melee range. So, say like a pistol will hit as long as the long rifles do. So that's
yeah,
maybe that's why it looks weird to me.
maybe
But I've
it
I've
might make
definitely
sense.
noticed that. So I mean, for all I know, that's it. But that takes Pete and the other guys at Epic to answer that because they know for sure. Otherwise, it's just lag compensation stuff. I don't know. That's just online play.
Sometimes you can get a shot off. And I can't tell why. I think it might have to do with the distance they're away when they melee you or something. But I've
Yeah.
gotten a shot off several times when I've gotten meleeed, and it's like,
And I
okay,
have the
I'll take
habit.
it. You know.
Exactly. I have the habit in Gears 3 when I get meleeed, I just start tapping my shotgun to shoot it. And like sometimes you'll get the shot off, and some before they two-piece you, or sometimes you'll trade with them. You guys remember I used to go for trades, like so. Overall, I think the fact that I can go into a fight and plan to double melee you and have it work, I don't know if that's good or not. It's probably bad. It's probably not good for what we want, but that's how it is
Mhm.
right now. So I don't think it's game breaking at all. Um, in terms like it has to get changed, like it's overpowered and stuff. I think it's just the way it is. And if it was dumbed down in some way, it'd be fine, maybe better, but I don't know. I really can't tell unless I played with it, nerfed a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
because like you
also-
said, the melee is used to keep people away when they get close, but people head down you and just out of a roadie run, they just melee you and kill you. And you can, when you point blank with the shotgun, they just eat it. Or, I mean, I think the best thing to do is try to melee back, but that doesn't even always work. Like they come out of the roadie run, they just melee you.
Well, that comes into play. I mean, that also comes into play from watching like Arctic's video. I'm assuming everyone in the stream hopefully has watched it. I think all of us have. His tutorial video he was talking about when he did the whole shotgun tutorial. Like
Yeah.
when someone's pushing up on you, the way the spread works is the spread. If the spread, let's say, was around that big, hypothetically, like some of the pellets would be outside where my hands were. Like a couple of them, I think it was like 6, are slightly outside the reticule. So you got to make sure you're fully hitting your shots. Like if someone pushes up close to you, you get a half shot or you get a quarter shot, you're not chunking them. It's a fact. It's just not going to happen for you. You're not going to get rewarded for not perfectly hitting your shot because the spread is that big and it's a universal spread, so it does not change like it did in Gears of War 3. You had 3 different shots in Gears 3. You had a quick LT, and then the blind fire shot, and the spreads were all different. We went into it last week, so I'm not gonna go all over it again. But basically, if someone comes up close to you, make sure you hit the whole spread. If you do, you'll chunk them almost all the time. If you don't, and you swing your shot a little bit, and you get half of the shot or a quarter of the shot, then don't expect the kill because you're not gonna get it. And he goes over it very, very extensively in that video. So just make sure you're hitting your shots.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I've been trying to L-trig and see if I can like perfectly line up the shot and try to get the kill, but that doesn't seem to be working.
Did you see the video yet, Yoke? Like when he went
No,
in?
I haven't seen the video.
It's
I'll-
like
I'll-
maybe 5% better spread. That's it. It's almost the same.
Yeah.
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 I like the shotgun. I
Do
like
you
it.
think,
Yeah, I like it too. Just that's
just
what's
out,
been
just out
happening.
of curiosity, to what you guys think on this, and I'm just bring this up for a second, see what you guys think. I personally think, like, when you look at all the shotgun spreads, right? You had in Gears of War 3, you just basically had a quick LT, which was like that big. Then you had like a regular L trigger, which is a little bit bigger, right?
Is that how big it is?
And then, we're just being hypothetical. And then you had like the blind fire, right? And the blind fire was like something around,
Damn.
a little bit bigger, right? So
The great big blind fire.
the spreads are all different, right? Like, but the quick LT was the most effective shot in Gears 3. With the spread the way it is right now, if it was slightly, I'm not talking a lot, I'm talking very slightly, just so it's within the crosshairs reduced, do you think that would make the gameplay better, or do you think it doesn't matter? Just out of curiosity from you, what you guys think. I'm not talking a drastic difference. I'm talking like really slight, just so it's within the crosshairs.
Yeah, I see what you mean. It should be, like, honestly, if you're shooting, it should be within the crosshairs a little bit. It is a little wide. I agreed with you there, and when we were at PAX and we were talking about it, that the spread is a little bigger than what I would like it to be. But that's just me. That's my opinion. Make it a little bit tighter would help it, but I'm not sure if it would make the shotgun too strong then, because it's at one of the most balanced points it's ever been at.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of afraid to really try and mess with it because
No,
I like the way it is right now.
I completely agree. The only thing I just feel like is if it was maybe, I'm talking just within the crosshairs, not a drastic difference. Nothing like what an L trigger or a quick LT or anything that would do in the previous Gal games. But I think if Epic did do that, you would feel like it would be able to get you a little bit more consistent in your shots. But whether they do it or not, that's completely up to them. But does it need to be needed? I don't know. That's why we're talking about it. So just something to bring up, just out of curiosity.
Sure.
I think it's better that shotgun fights take 3 or 4 shots, and you have to be real consistent with your shot versus just getting one shots all the time like Gears 3. I think that's a good thing. I think it increases the skill gap with the shotgun play, which is always good.
True.
It's
Yeah,
different.
more
It's
fighting
different. Like
boxing,
it takes
actually.
while you used to, but yeah, it's more time to get melees in. That's good.
Yeah, it's better. It's more like Gears 1, except the melee is way more useful now. But
Yeah.
if they add the stun to it, that fixes that. But the shotgun is really on point right now. It's a lot more skill to use, a lot more skill to win those 1v1s, and all
I'll
the
say this.
positioning.
It's better than Gears 1 because you aren't spamming to get active reloads all the fucking time.
Oh,
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, okay, I see
You're
where you're
not-
coming from with that.
You're not
Okay.
chunking your teammates when you're running out of the spawn, trying to
feel
get
like-
active reloads.
Yeah.
I feel like that right there, though, I feel like
Everyone's
the
done that at
active
least
stuff
once.
is what's really prolonging the shotgun battles. Like, I feel like even if you had this spread and you had actives, I'd still think we'd be playing that 2 to 3 shot game instead of that 3 to 4 shot game we're playing right now. So the actives alone are going to drastically change that, and then obviously the big bullet spread. But even if it was slightly tweaked, I don't feel like it sounds like you guys are making it seem like if it was slightly a little bit like that it would make it so that I could just run around one shot everybody. I feel like if it was fully within the crosshairs, I don't think that would do that. I don't know, just me.
I don't think it needs to change at all as of right now. I mean, I just don't think there's a reason to. But I like the point you brought up. Being a little bit more rewarded with L triggering. I understand.
Yep. Well, in the previous games, not this one. This one, the spread's the same, no matter what way.
Exactly. Yeah. If we were more rewarded with the L trigger in this game, how would that play out? Yeah, I understand.
Okay. So another thing we haven't really touched base on really tonight so far is the rifles. After a week of scrimming and all that, what do you guys think about, say, the classic hammy, the normal hammerburst? Because I know, Rob, you were using that a lot. I think it was the other night.
Mhm.
The Marxes. Have you guys encountered teams that actually try to rock all Marxes? How does that work out? What do you guys think of the rifles so far in competitive settings?
When someone runs all marks, it gets a little crazy. Other than that, I feel like all of the rifles are the most balanced we've ever seen. I personally feel like the Retro's a little bit better up close. The Lancer's perfectly in the middle. It's probably the most consistent. And the Hammerburst, a little bit better far away. Like if you're, just spamming your shots just right a little bit. But I just feel like all of them are, as of right now. You guys tell me what you think, but I think they're the most balanced we've seen in a very, very, very long time.
Oh yeah, of course. That's what I was saying. I think it was right when I got back from PAX, I was saying we have like the most balanced gears we have ever had right out of the box, and people are still complaining, saying everything's OP, yada yada yada, but they really aren't realizing this is the most balanced we have ever had of gears out of the box. Since when have we played Gears day one, looked at the power weapons, and been like, damn, I don't know if anything needs to be changed.
Right.
That's never happened. And then now with the rifles, we play with the rifles, and we're just looking at them like, well, shit. I don't think you even need to mess with those either.
Yeah.
That's never happened. Never.
Yeah, no, it hasn't. No,
It's really just a
Yeah,
shame the maps suck.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did everything they could with it. I mean, they nerfed the retro a little bit. The hammerburst spam, like how you could spam it. They changed the recoil, so it's not that bad. So I mean, I think with all those
The only
fixes,
thing-
everything is really balanced.
The only game I feel like we ever saw, and this is just so ancient now, was Gal 1. I mean, the Hammer Burst was allowed in competitive, and so was the Lancer. It was no big deal. You didn't care like when the Insanes went on Gridlock and they'd grab the Hammer Burst in the tower as a pickup and then start using it. No one cared. You were just like, oh, well, you're going to do that.
Yeah, that's how it is.
Push your guys over here, no big deal. And then right now, I feel like, except maybe sometimes when a team runs all Marxes, that's the only time I felt like, oh my God, I'm getting destroyed right now. This is bad. Like, let's go all Marxes and try to beat him.
Yeah.
That was the only time I felt like I was getting just destroyed from the power of the rifles.
Yeah, that
Really?
hasn't
You
happened to me yet.
against all Marxes? That's what happened?
It was a little rough for me, but then again,
TDM?
in defense of the Marxa and in defense of the game itself, I wasn't playing with the best players in the world when I was playing that game. I was just playing with a couple friends from work, and we were getting slayed pretty bad. So
Okay.
I would have to really go into it with a full team next time, and have to have us use all Marxes and see can we really put them down that bad. So in defense of the game, yeah, did I feel that way? Yes, but my friends that I was playing with are not what you would call top level players, I guess you could say. So
I think
I could say that.
I think the developers deserve a lot of credit on how well they did with these guns, and the testing they had with the players out there, and where they came to. And what bothers me is how quickly some people can just want to resort back to Lancer and Asher because they just don't want to spend the time to realize that this is actually playable. It's actually really fun, and there's a lot of strategic elements, and it's balanced. And I have yet to be like exploited by anything where I'm just like, this is just so unfair. Like I don't know. Am I playing a different game? I haven't experienced that with anything where I'm just like, what the hell, man? There's just no way that I could beat that. That hasn't happened yet. Like instead of when you die and you think about how unfair that was, try thinking about how you could beat it next time. Because there's so many different ways that you can counter things, and with all the new loadouts and all the new grenades available right now, it's awesome, man. We just got to get time with it and start learning some things. So I think they did a great job with the guns overall.
Yeah, the only things I've really seen that people complain about OP-wise is, the stim grenade. That's really the only thing, because I was talking,
okay.
I think it was, I forget who it was I was talking to before, but I was saying, I've been trying to cheese with the stim grenade, really seeing what the problem is, and even last night I was doing it when I was streaming. And I would throw it at the floor, and sometimes I would get chunked or two-pieced instantly in the stim. Stim didn't save me. And sometimes I would stand in it and get meleeed like 3 times straight and be fine and then kill the kid. So I'm not sure if it's really we don't fully understand how the stim works or the stim is inconsistent. I can't put my finger on either one.
So every single frame it heals you to full health. So if someone melees you, it's going to do nothing. The only thing they can kill you is one-hit kills.
One-hit kills, okay.
One hit kill, skilled headshot with a weapon like a sniper or like a breach shot, like a long shot or a breach shot. So a skilled headshot or maybe a torque headshot, or an explosion weapon. Torque, boom, bushka, you name it. Direct digger works. But any of those types of weapons, they could do the trick, but it's got to be a one-shot kill weapon. Other than that, though, nothing.
I'm going to take you guys to the whiteboard behind me.
Oh, here we go.
This dude's serious?
Lesson 101, Immortal Spawn. I'm with it. This is new. Here we go. Get the dry eraser.
All right, guys.
Get the dry
This is
eraser.
Professor Immortal, Gears of War Judgment 101.
Hold on, I'm going to even put this above so they can see more of it. There we go.
Sure, go ahead.
Get my
Yep,
pad
you're
paper
good.
real
They can
quick.
see your whole camera right now.
Can you see the screen behind me?
Yep.
All right. Today's lesson is the stim grenade. We've had a lot of controversial topics on this subject, and we just want to air things out a little bit. Now, for me, I'm going to play this game competitively no matter where it goes, because I love Gears and I love competitive gaming. But what I really just want to kind of drill in your heads is just to give things a chance a little bit. So let's talk about a basic scenario in Gears of War. On this graph to my right, we have 3 colors. We have X, Y, and a plus sign. The X in blue is a player with a stim grenade. The Y in red is on the red team. He is the player without the stim grenade. This is a classic 1v1 situation in Gears of War. We're very familiar with these types of situations. We have the offensive player who's on the blue team. He proceeds to throw a stim grenade toward the Y player, or the red player, excuse me. At this moment, the Y player has a few decisions to make. And I'm sorry, I realized my X's and Y's were mixed up.
Yeah.
But let's say X has stim and Y has without stim, okay? So X is engaging Y with a stim grenade. These are the options that you, as the player without the stim, have. And trust me, there's many options. Not just I die or anything. That's not what we're looking for here. So one, assuming you have a shotgun, this is the thing, because I'm a programmer. So we're going to talk about this in programming terms. So this is the scenario, okay? We've entered this scenario. Number one, if you have a shotgun, then you can go for a gib. You can go for the one shot. Now, I don't suggest this because it's rather difficult. You're fighting someone in the life grenade. You have to land the gib, so it might not be the best thing. But that might be your immediate reaction due to all the Gears of Wars that we're used to. So this is very different because this person is healing himself. It's very different. So two, if you have an explosive power weapon, you can use that to kill this person. So if you so happen to have this power weapon that causes explosions, whether it's a digger or a boom shot, you can use those here. Number three, you can counter with a nade of your own, whether this be your own stim grenade, if that's your kind of thing, whether it be a smoke grenade, which is an amazing counter, or whether it be a frag grenade, to try to maybe stick them or hopefully get the explosion, because that works too. Frag grenades on their feet will kill them. All right, say you don't have any nades left, you don't have any power weapons, you don't have any gibs. Number four, and this is actually where I kind of jumped to right away, because why would I want to put myself at a disadvantage? All right, is to evade the stim zone for the short duration or bait the stim player out. Okay, so the player throws the stim, you're in this situation. All you have to do is evade this area, because they're in this aura of health, and outside the aura of health, they're kind of useless. And it's only 4 seconds. So if you can somehow evade, either get in cover, or just run around a wall, or once it's realizing, or you see it's in their hand, you just dip set. And if you're playing in a team-based game, you can sometimes even bait this player out. And once that player is out, you call it out for your team, say he's no longer in stim, and focus fire on him. And, number five, yes, you're running away, he kills you, blah, 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 so you're dead. So guess what? I've died against stims too. We've all died against stims. But just because you died doesn't mean that there were ways to beat that. That's my lesson for today, guys.
That was fabulous.
Oh, man. I'll say this right now first before we even talk about this anymore. I love you. I love you, Rob. That's all I have to say. But obviously, you can use inks, map control, everything else as well. But in regards to, the stim grenade in general, how do you feel? Do you think anything needs to be done to it at all? Obviously, I'm thinking you're going to say no on that, right? Because you feel there's enough counters, there's enough ways to stop it. You're just feeling like everyone's
it's
not
okay.
doing what
Like
they
if
do
it
to
gets
stop
tweaked, that's fine. I love the idea of the sim grenade. Being able to help each other. It's a defensive grenade in the sense that it's not dealing any damage. Like it's not dealing any damage over time. So if you can understand that, I don't even use the stim because I don't think it's that insane. Like I'd rather be more productive on the offensive. I'd rather be throwing inks on hills to gain more time. You gain more time with inks. So I don't know. I'd rather be more with an offensive grenade. Yes, it can be used defensively on a hill to heal yourself, but like I said, an ink lasts longer. So, I like the idea of stims. I want them in play. If they get nerfed, if they get tweaked, fine. But I just want you guys to understand that, think about the ways that you can deal with the stim, and don't shun away. And this goes for anything in life. Like don't shun away change. Just learn to adapt and learn to engage new strategies. I think it adds a fun element to Gears and something fresh that we should embrace.
I love the concept of a stim grenade. I really do. I think it will work. I think it'll still work right now. It's just a little too much. I think what would really fix the stim and solve not all, but most of the complaints people are having is make it so that the stim grenade, when it's thrown down, only heals teammates and not the person throwing it.
No one would use it, though. I certainly wouldn't use it.
It would be more of a support factor. I mean, you get into fights, you throw it down for your teammates to help them out.
In the game, when you go to the screen, and look at the stim grenades defined as a weapon. I'm sorry, a grenade to heal your teammates. It's not defined as a weapon to throw at your feet. So when you're getting beat, you got a contingency plan. That's not like well, I don't think that's what it was designed to do. I mean, the developers can correct me if I'm wrong, but in regards to it, I feel like there's two ways that you can make it a little bit better. One, you either can't use it on yourself, or two, it only works on one person, or maybe only two people of your team in the same radius, not the entire team. I can't just take it, throw it on my teammates' back, and all of us, all right, everybody go rush the hill. We got one stim for 4 seconds. Here, you throw your stim now. There's another stim for another 4 seconds. Then you throw another one, we go to 12, and you throw another one, we go to 16. You know what I mean? It's not needed. But I'm just saying in regards, and that's obviously very, very situational. Obviously, as Rob explained, there's many situations that you could put yourself in to avoid that and avoid the area in general. But I just feel like maybe one of those two things would help balance it a little bit more. Do I like the stim grenade and what it does? Yes, I do. I think we all agreed on that before we came on today, that we all like the stim and we all like the idea that it's something completely different that just has never happened before. Being able to hear your teammate when he's in a 1v2 and he needs some help and you're right there, instead of just crossing and praying for him, you could throw a stim grenade at him and get him healed up real quick. That's pretty cool. But I just feel like when everyone's running in and you see plus signs for 30, for a long time, or just for a while, and then everyone's just fighting in them, it gets a little, I guess, frustrating is the word.
Okay. I
think
saw. Oh no, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think before you did anything drastic with it, you could just make it last 3 seconds instead of 4. The other thing you could do is one of the things I have issues with is when people just throw it down as a panic thing. So like they lose some health in a shotgun fight and they're just like, and then all of a sudden you can't do shit. You know?
Yep.
So if you made it so it didn't detonate for a second or so, then that would give enough time to kind of wrap up your shotgun fight before it detonated. Since they're throwing themselves at a disadvantage by throwing it, that would also be an option. I think that making small changes like that would keep it from being useless to the general public. Like, here's the thing, like, from a design standpoint, if you make it so it doesn't heal yourself, that alienates the 80% of people that only play by themselves in quick match. You know,
Yeah,
like
no,
no one's
that's
Okay, yeah,
going
yeah.
to use it.
Put their feet up.
All right. Now, how about this idea then? Because I saw Vero Prodigy saying in the chat. I've seen other people say it, but I mean, it's really is a solid idea. Why not make the stim grenade like every other grenade? It affects everyone, not just you or your team, because it is a grenade and everybody is in it. So, I mean, if you think about any other grenade, it affects anybody in it. But the stim grenade is the only one that friendly fire on or off only affects yourself or your teammates.
Well, if you throw it like in a private match, and you throw it as the cloud, like just throw it into the floor on a hill, if the other team runs on it since friendly fire is on, I'm pretty sure they get healed as well. It's when you directly throw it at a teammate, and then like your teammate runs in, and then you guys run in, and there's no cloud, that only your team gets healed. I think I brought that up last week when I was experimenting with that. But other than that, though, I just feel like in regards to what Colin said and what you said, Kenny, I only think it needs a very, very, very small tweak. I don't think it needs to be, oh my God, ban it, get rid of it. I like it. I like what it does. I just think a small tweak, any of the ones we mentioned, would help balance it out just a little bit so it's not too much.
The only thing I can think of that might suck if it heals both teams is that it still sucks for rifle players that don't have a grenade, which is like the fourth scenario that Rob brought up. Like if you're firing a Lancer at someone and he just like drops a stim on himself and then takes the point in domination, you can't do shit. Like
No,
you're just
nothing.
forced to watch him cap the point. So
We there's a video of a guy who uses a stim grenade, and he literally just swallows an entire clip from a Vulcan.
yeah.
Like the Vulcan sits there shooting him through the entire stim grenade. Nothing happens. He screams, blood comes out everywhere, but he's perfectly fine. He doesn't got to worry about anything.
Yeah.
He's got that plus sign over his head.
Let's
But-
just not forget that was his choice of utility grenade, and he's not doing anything else with his grenade. He's keeping himself alive for a few seconds, which means he's not throwing inks, he's not throwing frags, he's not throwing smokes, he's not doing those other things. I mean, that's the choice. That's the utility decision that he's bringing to his team. Maybe it should be 3 seconds, whatever. But, I mean, I think that's okay because that's the trade-off, right? He's not putting damage out. I don't know.
I think in TDM it's not an issue. In domination, where you can cap a point during that time, there's no other grenade that can let you cap a point like that.
Right.
To a point where it's almost a guarantee. You know, like there's not much that can stop you if there's no one nearby and you throw that.
Does a Marska headshot do anything? I guess not, because it wouldn't.
No, it can't because it needs 2 shots for a headshot. It has to be a single headshot weapon. So
Yeah.
a Marksman does not counter a stim.
Yep.
Yep.
In execution, obviously, we don't have to worry about this. In TDM, it's all situational. So if you waste a stim on yourself, good for you. We're just going to wait till the stim's over, and then we're going to push you. We still got our nades. So I understand your situation there. But the only game type I feel like it has an effect, obviously, like you were just saying, was, an objective game type. So if we ever got a bomb game type, yeah, that would be a big deal. If someone stimmed the bomb player and he was just running back to their, side, that would have a pretty big impact on that. Or if, for example, domination with capping hills and making sure that you secure a hill with not having too much resilience. But that's just some thoughts for the table. I just figured we should at least, bring it up because I think that's the biggest complaint in the community right now.
Yeah, you're right.
But a small fix of any kind that we mentioned, I think would drastically help it so that people could still use it. And like you said, Rob, we don't want to ruin it for anyone that plays solo queue because that's going to suck. You want people to still use it, you know what I mean?
Right.
So
Oh yeah. Yeah, of course.
150% I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, I see. I see now. Like, I didn't think about it. Making it so it only heals the person. I mean, the teammates of the person throwing it, not the one throwing it. That can be a problem. So, really, the best way to do it would be simply reduce the duration. Just that one tad, take 1 second off. Kill it by a quarter. Or maybe make it so it's like a friendly fire with all nades when friendly fire's on. So then it would actually matter for the high-end game type, competitive game types when we have friendly fire on, unlike matchmaking.
Also, if the stim was slightly lower in the amount of time that it kept you healed, that would make a smoke much more beneficial to countering a stim. Because then when you stun the player, their time clock wouldn't be as long to just fly at you. You know what I mean? You would be able to stun them. They try to push in. It wouldn't be as effective. So that would make a smoke much more of an ability to counter against a stim. So, just that's my 2 cents on everything in regards to the stim issue.
Yeah, now I want to touch base on smokes. I know it's not nearly looked at as the stim grenades because stim grenades are much more of a factor right now since they are way easier to be abused. But with smokes, you spawn with 2 in all these game types. So, I mean, it's really throw smoke, stun, get a little closer, throw smoke again, stun, and then you're in the kid's face and he can't really do anything. But I've seen people complain that you can't move when you get stunned. That's not true. I move away. Oh, it looks like we lost Yogurt. Yeah, you can bounce real quick in up A. You can move. It's possible. You just can't run. So it's kind of like when you had a mulch or a mortar in Gears 3 and you wall bounced. Like, you weren't really mobile, but you could move. So that's not true that you can't move when a stun hits, but it should not be 2 because I've seen in some matches, now the cams are all out of whack. Jesus. But, yeah, I've seen in some matches where... it's really just a smoke fest, and it's not good from a viewer's perspective because all you're seeing is just smokes, stuns everywhere, and then it's, just like, say, Gears 3 checkout at Plat. Everybody just converges, and, like, it's just I don't know, it's just kind of a clusterfuck, if you ask me. And it doesn't really look good.
Yeah, the smoke should ragdoll.
No.
This is all I have to say to that. This is all I have to say to that. That's the reason I didn't play Gears 2, actually. That's the primary reason I didn't play.
I miss sliding down the stairs on Blood Drive.
Well, no, how about Stasis? Was that it? Were those long steps? You just slowly slid down.
But when you did the Bernie down the whole thing, the whole steps.
You'd slide down for the whole round.
You're like, hey guys.
And then somebody would just run down and be like, why is there this guy laying here, and just shoot him? And you're like, fuck. No defense.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I personally, I was never a fan of smoke stunning. Never was, especially when it was a ragdoll, because that was just so broken. I mean, sometimes you got sent to the clouds. It made no sense. But, I mean, even the flinch, I'm really not a fan of, because I feel like smoke should be more like Gears 1. They're used to set up screens to push in and create flanks, not just as really as offensively useful as they are with the stuns and moving in and getting kind of cheesy looking kills. That's just me. I think it would be better. Obviously, I doubt this is going to happen, but I think it would be better if the smoke was more like the flashbang it is, where it actually blinded the player for a second or two instead of stunning. I think that might be a little better. I don't know. That was just an idea I had.
in regards to the nade itself, just the smoke grenade in general, I feel like I liked. Of course, I'm a Gal 1 player, so I mean, I liked it better the way it was in Gal 1 when it was a risk and reward factor. That's what Killer Crank used to always talk about back in the day when we all used to play. He would just say like, "Oh well, you've got two options. You can either push through and take the risk, and maybe you catch someone off guard when you run through the smoke, or you run through and the team's waiting for you." And you get slapped the second you run through the smoke. That factor was there. And then also using it for screens, blocking certain areas on the map so a snipe can't get a headshot or the team can't call out exactly where you're going from. That's what the smoke used to be. In Gears 2 and Gears 3, that changed. Because now it either knocked you on your ass or it stunned you. So now it became an offensive weapon. It completely changed. Now you just take a smoke, throw it at the guy, run at him, and then go and try to get the kill. And that's what people would use it to do.
Yo, you guys hear me?
Yep, you're
Yes.
good.
Yeah, we're here.
Oh, okay.
And then in regards to the smoke grenade now, all I feel like is if it smoked you a little bit less, then I don't think it would be as bad. Just like the stun itself. The stun itself is a little long. If it was a tiny bit smaller, I think everyone would stop complaining. I don't know how you guys feel. That's just my input on it.
Well, the only thing is with the smoke really is when you get stunned, you can't like run. You're kind of disabled. And I think you can bounce on walls.
Yeah, you can
That's it.
bounce and up A real fast. You know, it's kind of like I said.
Yeah,
it's kind of
not
like
that bad though.
yeah, it's kind of like in Gears. You know, the previous Gears where you had a mulcher and you wall bounce. Like you can't get that far that fast at all, but you can
Yeah.
move.
Yeah.
The smoke's
second
pretty
you
thick
get
now.
smoked-
Like, it's pretty thick now.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
I think it serves its purpose as a smoke.
it does its
I'm
job
just
as a
talking about the
smoke.
stun.
Definitely, that's the problem with it because I mean, everybody has two, so people just start off with two. They run in, throw them everywhere, get the stuns, and you can't see a damn thing once those things go off. Not for
Yeah.
a while, too. I don't even know how long the smoke spread lasts, but it seems like 10 seconds, I swear. It's
It's-
up there for
I
a
think
while.
time
The
for
giant
that and the ink
cloud.
are the same.
What do you say?
I think the time for that and the ink are the same. Like they're very close in regards to
Yeah,
how long
I
a
think
smoke.
so.
I think they're almost identical to how long a smoke lasts compared to how long an ink lasts. I think they're actually almost identical.
The thing is, the smoke stun doesn't even make sense anymore because when they added that, the reason they added it was to give you a way to push. Like that's why they added ragdolls.
Mm-hmm.
So as you throw a smoke, then you can make a push where you couldn't really do anything before. So now you have inks, you have frags, you have stim. Like there's 3 different grenades that serve that purpose.
Yep.
So it doesn't really make sense to shoehorn the smoke into doing it as well. When you can just make it, I think you can keep the 2 and then keep the real thick smoke, and it'd be fun. Like I might even use it in execution in particular.
Yeah, exactly.
You could
Execution.
use it as screens.
I think it'll
yeah.
see a lot more play. Well, we're kind of forced to it, but even if we weren't forced to, I think we'd see a lot more play with the smokes and execution because it's meant to, get you through areas that are more difficult.
Remember
Like,
Gears 1?
I-
We used to do it on gridlock all the time. You throw it to like
Yeah.
the frags, and then you make your moves and
Yeah.
make a
Or,
push.
or canals. You smoked under bow so that the snipe couldn't perfectly see, and then you took a smoke and you threw it at their side steps so that you can just fly up the steps without being contested, and the snipe couldn't look at you from down low, and you'd get control on mid. Like that's the whole point of the smoke. Like I said, risk and reward factor. Like I said earlier, and using it to get you to certain areas of the map. Look like Cream, for example. Look at Haven. Imagine if we were playing Haven on execution, we were using like really organized smokes and they didn't stun. We would still be able to easily get wherever we want on the map without having the stun. It's not when you're using it and then it's a 1v1 and one guy's got a smoke and one guy doesn't, and all you see is, hey, here's smoke. Hey, I got my shotgun. Hey, all right, you're dead. Peace. Like, I'm not saying it's to work like that every time, but when it does, it kind of sucks, in my opinion. I don't know, why it needs to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. I don't like the stun. I never, like I said, I never did. I never liked it. I never knew, why they tried to really add it in. But I mean, sorry. I mean, the previous Gears, they added it to try and give people ways to push. But in this one especially, it's like you have all these nades and all these ways in and out to push, all these power weapons. So I don't see why it's needed to stun. I think it would make more sense if it was really like a flashbang because there is that flash that goes off and then the smoke and then the stun. Like that, there's a flash that goes off. So it's almost like it's a flashbang smoke, but it's not because it's just that quick flash and then it doesn't really do anything. It's just there for effect.
And then the other thing too, I mean, you gotta look at is, okay, well, if we're going for screens, I mean, if your team runs all smokes, and I run some smokes and I run a couple spots, good luck with that screen push, because then again I could just use one spot in a certain area of a map to be like, okay, on execution, there we go, gonna counter you right there and make sure that you can't do what you want. So
That's what I think
it's
about. That's what one of the things that's so exciting to me about this game is that we have those options. There's room for like a meta game. After each tournament, we can come back and say, let's try this. There's the fact that there's these options is what's exciting to me. Just wanted to make that point. But in terms of the stun, yeah, maybe a little too much.
Yeah. Now, one thing I brought up at PAX, this is when we were having our little sit down Sunday night. And we were really talking about judgment and what we could do. Everybody that was there as a whole to help out. It's something I haven't really seen anybody touch base on. I don't know if it's just being overlooked or just nobody's brought it up yet. In all the past Gears of War, you would have a map. Everybody would have their initial spawn points, and then all the power weapons would be in the middle, and each team would have to work for it. In this Gears of War, people have spawns with power weapons right next to them. So certain spawns get certain power weapons right off the bat. And it's really odd. So it's like you look at execution and you kind of try to figure out how that's going to work. Because a team could get this awesome power weapon right off the bat compared to another.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like the traditional execution better. I mean, I think unless you change the spawns around, like our library example earlier, I don't know. I just don't like the idea of one side having this weapon and the other side not. Like, just a hand me. I like the strategic elements of, like, think of it like a paintball game. I mean, you both start on this side and there's all this stuff in the middle, and, you make your plays based on the areas that you want to control, and that's what we're used to for execution, but I think that's what makes execution work. So,
yeah, I'm just really interested to see how it plays out because, like somebody just said, Ozone said in the chat, on streets, for example, one team's going to get Bushka right off the bat, other team's going to get Torque Bow, I think, or Snipe. They spawn on that opposite side.
And yeah, exactly. And these current maps, that's why we didn't see execution from day one, because they're just not designed for it at all.
Yeah,
they're designed for the domination, TDM, free-for-all.
Yeah,
they're just not designed.
Fatal and Immortal, both your cams froze. Try turning them off and then back on again real quick.
Alright.
Yeah, I think I'm back now, guys.
Yeah, I mean, you think about how poor the spawns and like Wingman were for Gears 3, and it was because all the maps were symmetric and not segmented a lot, and now the maps are really large and segmented just to have decent spawns for free-for-all and respawning game types.
Yeah. Now, what Quinn just said in the chat, and that's great, and if you think about it, it makes sense, is he's saying the way that's like that is because these maps were designed for free-for-all, not team game types. So it's kind of like, well, if these maps were designed for free-for-all, like he's saying, then right off the bat, we've gotten 4 free-for-all maps and no actual TDM or DOM maps.
I think they work for those other game types. Just in the sense that you respawn, the game's always changing, evolving, you're switching sides. And, the fact that it's not execution-based, I think it works on those other game types.
Well, you have the ability to flip the map.
Right.
But then again, if that's the case, then why back when we were talking in Gears of War 3 multiple times that there was, I'm not going to name the employees, I'm not going to put them on blast, but there were quite a few members of Epic who were explaining that for the future, that this game was going to have maps designed for specific game types. If that's the case, then why design the maps for only one game type? You know what I mean?
Well, you got Overrun, right?
You
got Overrun maps.
So you got Overrun maps. And then you've got every map that's coming out right now designed for specifically free for all.
Well, no, wouldn't Haven be a map designed for execution?
I agree for Haven, but I'm just saying in general, like, what maps do we have to? I'm speaking not only just a competitive standpoint, but just everything in general. Like, we have certain game types that are only going to be for certain maps, and that's it. I mean, is that what we're looking at, or are these new maps that are going to come out? Are they going to be able to have multiple maps that work?
Yeah.
So
that's a good point.
That's my big question there.
Fatal, try hanging up and rejoining.
Okay.
You're getting real robotic. Yeah.
1,000 right now, is that what it is?
Yeah.
All right. Team 1,000 out.
I think it's definitely difficult to design a map that works on all the game types that we're talking about right now.
Yeah, there's a huge difference between respawn game types and single life. Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
There you go. You're good.
Okay.
Yeah, Rob, you try doing that real quick too, because you're frozen again.
All right, peace.
Yeah, I don't doubt that it's hard to create a map that works for everything. Like, but it's hard to, I mean, surprisingly, the maps work. Some of them work, even though I don't like them all. Some of them do actually work for TDM and Dom, but dude, they don't look like it's gonna work really that well for execution because you get these power weapons right off the bat instead of having to actually fight for them.
Yeah, I
That's
agree.
what's odd.
I agree.
We've never dealt with that, so it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
just once again, bomb game type might be doable if one team gets power weapons and the other one gets different power weapons or lesser power weapons.
Mhm.
Just saying. Just
If we have Dom, Bomb, and EXE to work with, I really don't see a problem. There's no way that we can't come up with 6 game types, because that's all we need. I
You
think
don't
we
think we can come up
all
with 6
learned our
game types
lesson.
right now?
What's up?
You don't think we can come up with 6 game types right now?
With
I think-
execution,
no,
yeah.
I'm just saying with a bomb game type, it makes it easier. I'm not saying we can't
Yeah.
come up with it. But
Yeah.
like when we ran the cycle we used to run at the end of Gears of War 3, nobody really complained out of which of the 6 maps they got. You just dealt with it and you just played, because they were all pretty damn even. So that's what we need to go for now. We don't want to have a map where everyone's like, "Oh my god, like we're doomed if this map comes up." You know what I mean? We want to try to keep it as, just a cycle in general, around 6 maps, so it's not too long for scrim time. And then
Exactly.
other than that, we should be okay, because our biggest mistake we made in Gal 3 was we took 8 months to decide what maps we were going to use. And then after we did that, we kept it 11 maps because people from Halo told us that we should do 11 maps, which we didn't need to. Like we weren't going MLG back then. We don't know what's going on with MLG now. We should just simply focus on what we know is happening. We know the tournaments that we know are going to come up, and that's pretty much it. So we should just focus on those and making the game types work for those. Also, It's much more scrim friendly if we have only 6 maps, because it's much easier for new players to get in and start getting scrims in. They don't have to waste as much time per cycle. And for all of us that work and go to school at the same time, makes it much easier to fit 2 scrims in a night when they only take 45 minutes to an hour, and I put my 2 hours in, do 30 minutes of review with my team, and in 2.5 hours, I'm done. I can go do whatever I got to do. So it just makes it much easier that way, and I just think that's the way it should be. I think we learned our lesson during Gears 3, and there's no reason to switch it otherwise.
Reach, I believe it. I'm a believer.
Word. I love you too, bro.
Now, I'm sure people have heard, and if they haven't, there is a LAN coming up in a couple of weeks, and I know that's why Rob did want to hop on, because he did want to talk about it. We have King of the Couch coming up in 2 weeks, April 13th, I believe.
Yep.
It's gonna be the
Execution drops.
Yeah, it's going to be the first Gears of War Judgment LAN. And I'm not sure if I'll be there helping out. I know Mentz is asking Rod if he'll want me. It's really up in the air. I don't know. The guy doesn't like me, I guess. Who knows? But Mentz is going to be there running it. And I guess we're going to get our first glimpse of how the game really works on LAN with these settings with a good amount of teams. There is a few things I was curious about, though, that Mentz was telling me. Rod is looking apparently to do it so that there's an advanced and casual bracket.
What?
Yeah, I can elaborate on that a little bit because I actually competed in it recently.
Yeah, and the other problem is, from what I was told, is that Rod wants to do 4s, 2s, and free-for-all all in one day.
And if we've
not
ever
happening.
experienced that before, we know that there's just not enough time.
No.
There's no way.
So the word on the street that I got from Mentz is that 4s is going to be single limb, the whole thing.
There's no way. You can't. You gotta pick. You gotta pick your poison. You gotta pick which one you're gonna roll with. We know for a fact every single time that we've ran tournaments at NJ Halo, they have a knack of not finishing. There's plenty of tournaments that we've had run with 2v2s and 4v4s alone. They don't finish. FFA is a great game type, as people mentioned in the chat from the Epic staff, or previously from the Epic staff, that if it's designed for that, then use the FFA. Let people play FFA. But why the hell do we need to run a 2v2 and a 4v4 tournament if that's the case? You just pick one or the other and you go with it. 4v4 is pretty traditional gears. If we're trying to test it out and find out for the future if it works or not for whatever maps, then run 4v4. Run FFA on the side. You want to compete in FFA or you don't have a team? There you go. You have a team you want to play? Go sign up for the 4v4. Done. There's no reason, I think, to run anything else than that. You know what I mean?
I agree, Joe, and I wish it were that way. But here's the thing: there's actually people that are going to sign up for 2v2, and there's some people that don't go to play 4v4. They just go to play free for all and 2v2. So as a business owner, you can't discriminate the fact that he is still going to, hold the event and profit from all those. Now, for me, I just want to go and play 4v4, and I would be happy with that. And I wish, it just can't. It can't be that way though. So hopefully it'll be more structured in time. Like I think it just if it comes down to time management, and maybe we could be able to talk to Jeff about it. If we can manage our time better and say, hey, you got to start this at this time, this at that time, and this then, and we can plan to be done at a goal, then I think it's possible. But I know we haven't had much luck with it in the past.
How are we going to
too much.
How are we going to deal with this concept? This concept right here. How are we going to deal with this? If I go, right, let's say I have a 4v4 team I plan on competing with. Let's say I plan on playing free-for-all. And let's just say hypothetically, for whatever reason, I don't feel like playing in the 2v2 because I don't think I have enough time. How is Mentz and Rod going to be able to run 3 different tournaments with everyone competing? And knowing Rod, I'm assuming there's not going to be any limitations to what tournament you could play in. I just don't understand how he's going to finish 3 tournaments when we can't even finish 2 ever for the most part. I don't think we've ever finished 2 on time.
Yeah, we have.
In one day, how are we going to do that?
Yeah, like I said, it can't be done. It can't be done. It can't be done because it's too much. You got to instead of balancing 4s and 2s, which was already enough of a problem when I was there trying to run it, because I hated the fact that doubles was even there. Because towards the end, nobody even wanted to really do doubles. They were just doing it because it was there. And it was causing problems with time because we didn't have enough stations. And then you have people doing doubles matches and holding up 4s matches because they're doing doubles. It was just, it was stupid. There it is.
Different tournaments. The amount of situations that are going to, we're not even talking about technical situations right now. We're not even talking about if those arise because then we're just all screwed. But in regards to the event itself, if it's FFA and 4v4, I understand. Maybe they can make it work. But Mentz just said in the chat that FFA, 2v2, and 4v4 are all being run. That's it. Deal with it. Fine, I get that. If you want to go that route, then go that route. It's your tournament. But in regards to the tournament itself, you can't have people playing in any tournament. The amount of fallbacks and issues we're going to have just on the way the bracket falls out and who's playing at what time and people playing at the same time, man, it's going to be way too crazy. There's no way in hell they're going to pull it off.
It's too much to deal with, and I think he's just focused on making as much money as he can, and I don't think he's realizing that if this does not go well, he's going to lose teams that are going to want to go back. I understand there's teams that go there just for doubles and free-for-all, but you can't have both. It's one or the other. You can't have 3 different tournaments going on for one game in one day with how many teams are going to show up for the first Gout Judgment Land in the tri-state.
Just the hype is there. People are going to go. There's no doubt that Rod is going to get, and Mentz will get a very good turnout from the event. But there's just no way. And we also know that Gears never gets a lot of setups either. What are we going to have? 4 setups maybe?
So it has typically 4 stations.
So let's just say hypothetically we have 16 teams there. So then you got to do how many rounds for round 1? 8? You got to do 8 rounds for round 1 for, let's say, 4v4. You're going to run that on 1 station, and then you're going to run FFA, on 1 station? And then each round of the 2v2 tournament on what? 2 stations?
Yeah.
Good luck. Good luck getting that done in time, because I'd love to see it done, because you're going to have to be able to stop time or something, because otherwise there's no way that's ending in time.
It sucks you guys have such a shitty tournament organizer as the one that runs Gears tournaments around there.
Well, I mean, when I took over last year, doing the King of the Couches, like running the event instead of just streaming, I told them no more buybacks. It's crap. It causes problems. All of a sudden, I got to create another bracket because these guys want to play again, and it doesn't contribute to the pot. I got rid of that, and I made it double limb, and then it ran fine. I think it was like the first times ever I've seen a King of the Couch finish. Every other time, it ran till like 3 in the morning and never actually finished.
And then Mentz is saying that, split screen. I don't think that's fair to all the people that are coming here to compete. Is to force them multiple rounds just to force tournaments down their throat is to make them play split screen. I just think that's not ethical. I don't think that's the right thing to do. If people are coming out and they're new Gal players, let them experience Gal for what it is. Let them come to the tournament. Let them enjoy it. Let them play on their full screen and get a full tournament experience. That's what they deserve for putting their money on the table.
Yeah, and I don't like this. Only concerns me because I'm not going to be there helping out from the looks of it because I have not been asked to do it by Rod. Even though I did a bunch of them last year and they went fine. I have not been approached by him to do it. So
You guys should just meet up, rent out a bus and then drive to Ebash.
I would love to. And
I've heard how great eBash is. Is something going on with that this year? Hopefully, I hope.
Probably. I mean, they're always running. There's a pretty big local scene for Gears around Indiana just because of Ebash. So they'll do shit. You guys just got to get a group out to make the drive. It's fun.
Yeah, I just want to say
you'll get shafted like you do by Rod.
I know, but you can't forget, man. Really there wouldn't be the community that we have if it wasn't for Rod.
No, I appreciate him running it. Yeah, it's just that I don't want people going out of their way, traveling. Some people even fly in for these things. I don't want people going out of their way for the first Gal Judgment Land with already how fragile the community is, and then go there and it be just awful like it was last year for the first Gears 3-1. The first Gears 3-1 last year went 24 hours.
Yeah,
champion.
Man.
Sorry. It's totally worth it when you get your 40% cut at the end, though, right?
No, it wasn't so much worth it after that first event. Damn it.
If we had 8 setups, which obviously is not the case, we have half. That'd be one thing. We don't. We've got 3, maybe 4 setups. I know Metz is in charge. I know he's going to run the tournament, do the best he can, but he's only one man, and if I'm not mistaken, he's also competing. So
yep, he is.
If that and that's been a big issue. If that's the case, and he's competing, and he's the only one that can run this, because we know Rod's not going to run it. Rod's going to put all of his faith in Metz to do it, and he doesn't have a team surrounding him to get this done. And he's going to on top of all those issues, he's going to run 3 tournaments. No way, man. I love Metz. I love that they hold the tournaments and everything, but there's no way that's getting done in time, especially if he's competing and his focus isn't purely on the event at hand.
Yeah, I mean, I know he's going to do his best to really make it all work, but it's just concerning. But, I mean, I don't want to go on rants about that. I know we're going to talk about it again next week, see what happens. But is there anything else you guys want to cover that we have not touched base on this week? Maybe you want to answer some questions from the chat. Really tell me what you want to talk about right now.
There's a land poster I came across, and I'm just going to throw this out there, and don't hold my word to it. But apparently, if you are in the New Jersey area, there is a Gears of War Judgment 2v2 tournament on April 6th at 2 p.m. Hundreds of dollars in prizes. Let's see. Apparently it's a wingman tournament. So 2-player teams wingman tournament. So this is news to me that there's wingman in Gears Judgment. But it's a wingman tournament, so it's $20 a team, and it's run by Gameboat.com, but it's going to be at Harper's Pub in Clementon, New Jersey. By the way, you have to be 21 years or older to compete in this.
What?
So I don't know about you, but I'm looking to have a good time there and maybe face off with 1 or 2 other teams in the wingman game type that be scraping the fine on the menus. I'm not really sure about this event.
Talk to Epic, I think, connection to get wingman. That's pretty sick.
It's cool.
It's cool. It's super top secret tournament going down. So I'll make sure to get all the coverage I can there and bring it back to you guys. Not promoting that you waste your time on it, but if I am going to give them a phone call this week, dead serious, I'm going to give them a call and see, hey, is this for real? And look for a tweet about it or something, because I'm curious. I mean, they did put a flyer out, so who knows?
Well, that would be interesting. Never seen a 21 and older tournament before. Especially with a game type that hasn't even been announced yet.
And there's hundreds of dollars in prizes. So.
Hundreds.
250.
Yep. A lot of alcohol.
900? Who knows? That sounds pretty cool, though. On April 6th? What day is that? Hold
it's
on.
a Saturday.
Did you post it? Did you post it in the chat?
Yeah, I have a photo. Kenny, how about I send you the photo and then you can share the flyer?
Got a photo of a poster?
I have a photo of a poster, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you guys have any questions you'd like us to touch base on right now, feel free to ask them in the chat. Best option is to tweet them at Active Reload TV so I can actually keep track of them because the chat kind of flies really fast whenever we do this. So please tweet them at Active Reload TV. I'll do my best to look at the chat. But ask away and maybe we'll pick yours.
Bum, bum, bum.
Oh, yeah, here's one right off the bat from Reaper 112G. Have you guys discussed competitive settings? I think we were just really talking about if anything needs to be balanced or not. I don't think anything should be banned, honestly. I don't know what everybody else thinks, but I'm sure it's a pretty unanimous thing with that. Everything looks pretty balanced. Minor tweaks need to be made, but it still works, unlike any of the past gears. What do you guys think on that?
Yeah, in the perfect world, I'd like to keep it as vanilla out of the box as possible. Again, I give credit to the developers for all the balance of the weapons. I think they're all great. If we need to make some minor tweaks to the nades, so have you. I'm fine with them the way they are, and I hope we can play with it as is, and I hope you guys continue to give it a chance. Play some more default scrims, try some new things out, see how you like it.
Yeah, and please, if there's anything you think is OP, make a video and show it. Don't just tweet out like, oh my god, it's so OP, I hate it. I need proof.
It's too often people they lose to something and then they just immediately cry OP. They don't even try it themselves.
Yep.
They'd be like, "Oh, this team ran 5 fucking Marxes. I couldn't do shit." And then you're like, you never try it yourself to see that Marxes sucks if you get pushed. It doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not even
Yeah,
get
just
started.
think about what you could have done with all the new options. If you die, just think about what you could have done differently. For that next time it happens.
Yeah, here's something ACL Midnight said. I never even thought about this, honestly. Is the classic Hammerverse okay to keep in competitive despite it being DLC and not everyone having it?
Yeah, I don't think it's a weapon we can keep just because of that.
Yeah, I did. I completely forgot about that. I didn't even know.
I mentioned it last week, and it's just like it exists, but the fact that not everyone can have it, I don't think we can even consider it a weapon. So that's what I think.
I guess you could use it online and then just with the knowledge that if you go to a LAN, you won't be able to use it, so probably shouldn't.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what it is.
It's not broken or anything.
Yeah, it's not broken, which is unfortunate because it's actually pretty good if you can get it down.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to cheese with. You try to hip fire, that thing flies when you hit the burst. But it would work if it wasn't DLC, which sucks because I would like to actually see people playing with it.
It's really shicey to have weapons as DLC, by the way.
Yeah.
It's real shicey.
In regards to remember what happened in Gal 3 though, when we had the limited characters, and then Epic gave us the update on land so that we could have all characters and everything unlockable. If they could do that again, that would be awesome.
Yeah, it works for LAN, but not everybody has it online, so they can't practice it.
Yeah, no, you're right. In that aspect, yes, but at least it would be there if you wanted to use it, if you didn't have access to it.
Yeah.
And in regards of that and characters, you got on land out of the box 4 characters. Pick your poison. That's it. So
The black
gotta
market
keep that
price
in
of the
mind.
classic Hammerburst may go up, guys, so you may want to start collecting some codes.
But yeah.
Here's a great question from, I believe it's Retro, just, with a few numbers in there to make it. His question is, if they did add a spectator mode to Overrun, would you support it and use it to compete?
Well, I think you have 2 different kinds of competitions then if that happens. You have people that are going to want to go the traditional route, and then you're going to have people that are going to be the Overrun route. The very interesting thing, though, if we're talking Overrun in a serious point of view, and we do get a spectator mode, it has to be 5v5. It would be its own thing.
Yeah.
Like a whole, it's like, hey, there's an Overrun tournament going on. Would you like to attend to it? It's not going to be like, oh, well, would you like to go to an Overrun tournament, and we're holding an FFA, and we're holding a 4v4, unless some giant organization appears out of nowhere. I just feel that if Overrun does become a way to work, it's going to be a completely separate thing. You're going to have teams that are prepared for Overrun for 5v5 with spectator mode on top of that, which means you need 6 slots on each team. And on the other side of the things, you'll have people that are competing in either FFA, 2v2, or 4v4.
Yeah, I really want to see some teams try Overrun 4v4, and it sucks. I can't spectate it because I would love to try and spectate and commentate some 4v4s Overrun. but I want to see some teams try fours and overrun. Wait, can you do fours and overrun?
You can't even try it. It fills in bots all the
No,
way up to
fills in
Zombie
bots doesn't work.
I forgot.
Fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, that just clicked. That just clicked when I was asking that. That's why I asked.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sucks. Never mind.
That's fair,
Boo.
isn't it? We each have a bot on our team.
It's fair.
We
Let's
got,
run with
we
it.
got a
Sounds
Cole and a
fair.
Cantus going big.
I guess it
Yeah.
depends which bot you get.
Oh well.
I think that if Overrun was played competitively, it'd be a whole different crowd that would play it, which is good. I mean, it can be a good thing to have another competitive crowd running Overrun, maybe through like a nightly league or something, weekly. My issue from a spectator standpoint, even if there was a teams, I think that sometimes it can end up being the same thing over and over. Just in the sense of it's just throw shit. I'm probably off. Is this shit going?
No, we hear you. We hear you.
You're
good.
It's fine.
I have no camera, so I can't see anything moving. Okay.
Yeah,
So,
no, I'm
so I mean, you're just kind of throwing yourselves at the defenses over and over. So, what constitutes a showstopper play by a locust? Like, outside of the Rager getting headshots, there's nothing.
I mean, a Grenader going off with a shotgun maybe against normal opponents, not anything too crazy. That could always happen. Like, there's plays that could be made, but then again, at the same time, we haven't even played it enough to understand the entire full meta of the game, obviously. It's going to change. There's going to be teams that run one thing. There's going to be a team that runs another thing. This team's going to go for a taker push. This team's going to go for fortification drop. So at the end of the day, it's to blow up the generator as fast as physically possible. But like I said,
there's a lot of story to tell, for sure.
yeah, that's all it is. And then you're going to have a crowd that's going to be very cool with that, and they might want to go to that, and maybe we'll see them start to boom a little bit. So to anyone who runs an overrun tournament, and this is all if we get spectator mode. We can't even do this without it. So as of right now, my point of view is why even get so into it when it's not even there yet? If it's there, great. Then let's focus on it. We'll see who's running a tournament. If they do, we'll get it out there, let everyone know so that they can go get involved in an overrun tournament if they want to. But in regards to competitive play and traditional multiplayer, that's what our focus, I think, should be on right now because that's what we have. That's what we have that works at this time.
Yeah, I think we already have like enough new things to digest, so the whole new game type is definitely a lot like that. But Overrun's awesome. I'm definitely a supporter of the genre, the game type. It's awesome. So play it if you haven't yet.
I've had fun playing it.
Operator Terry was asking, how influenced are the devs on making changes to the game by our opinions via the show and just in general? Now, from what I've seen just by talking to them, I know they're listening. They are listening more than they ever have. I mean, they flew people in to test the game for the first time ever in Epic history. So I know they're listening and they're looking to make the game better. And this can only help for future Gears, or if they make a new series, not even Gears related, who knows? But I know they are looking to, make the game as good as it can be. No matter how long it lasts, they do want to, help us. They're looking to do that.
A huge force behind that was Quinn, though, who's not there anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So really, I feel like Pete is the only one, and he's not a designer. He's a programmer, but obviously does a lot more. I don't know. Traditionally, like Rack and Flack haven't done a lot towards the competitive community. Like they've been there. They're someone to talk to, but it's never been anything crazy,
Yeah, they've always been there supportive, but I think we covered this the first week. Quinn was really one of the main guys interacting with all of us. Pete obviously was great, showing up to Hype 2 and helping us out with everything, but Quinn was really in there with everyone on the competitive side. So now it's really just Pete.
In the GameSpot interview that Pete did with Mrs. Violence, she asked him exactly what he thought about esports specifically, and his response, word for word, pretty much. I'm making it a little shortened, but he said that they've tried to support us in the past, do what they can do, but they've been talking to they mentioned Cubano. He specifically mentioned myself at least 3 or 4 times during the interview that we were having long talks and everything we spoke about. And even Rack, like when Rack first introduced himself to me at the event, he said, "What's up?" I said, "What's up?" We started talking. Within not even 2 minutes to our conversation, I didn't even get to ask. He already started it. He's like, "So what do you think about the game? What are your critiques? what do you think needs to be better? And, he already started doing it for me. And then I just started going into him and talking to him about what I had to say. I mean, their ears were open, that's for sure. They seemed concerned and they were willing to take criticism, that's for sure. They just wanted to be well explained and make sure that if we make a push for something, that we're making it as a whole and not by ourselves. And I think that's the most important thing we could do right now, is that if we do decide that we want to do something or we think something needs to be done, that a large majority of us and a large majority of our community needs to feel the same way, so that the push is as one and not just, all of us just by ourselves trying to push for different things, because that's not going to get anything done. That's the way I look at it.
Sorry. One question I see somebody asking in the chat, Rackies. We didn't really talk about it, but I said publicly I have no problem with it. Should the Scorcher and Boom... are the Scorcher and Boom Shield banned and are girl characters banned? I don't think anybody's really made a decision on that with girl characters. I know Boom Shield and Scorcher, I have no problems with. I mean, you use a Boom Shield, you're really immobile, you're like a turtle. And a Scorcher's only good at short to maybe mid-range. So, I mean, it's really avoidable.
It's a fucking power weapon.
It's a power weapon.
Quit bitching.
Guys, that's what power weapons do.
Weapon.
They kill you effectively, and that's the point.
Man. You might notice there's also a boom shot, which is pretty damn good at killing people, and that's on the map to pick up.
Yes.
You might notice the Bushka is a one-hit kill to the body. You can fire 3 shots. That's 3 kills. So you have 6 kills with the Bushka. It doesn't make sense to me that people are whining about the fucking Scorcher just because it's stronger than it was in previous games.
Yeah, and just because it actually works now.
Yeah, it actually works. It went from completely useless to being good. Now all of a sudden it's OP. Get out of here.
Well, I mean, if everything's OP, then isn't everything balanced? That's what Barbosa said earlier. I saw that in the chat. Makes sense.
Yeah,
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
All the weapons in Unreal were pretty OP.
It's doing what it's supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's a power weapon, and it's a power weapon at close range. Does exactly what it's designed to do. No reason to change it. Call it out. If you know they have a Scorcher, let your teammates know. Don't get close to that guy.
Yep. You've just all been conditioned to be okay with the boom shot being ridiculous, and now that the Scorcher
really
all of a sudden, now the Scorcher gets a little bit better, and you've been conditioned to think that it's awful. Now it's overpowered. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, I would rather see the boom shot nerfed a little more than anything else.
Maybe
on the power
booms.
weapon side.
I've been harping on that since.
Yeah, 2 booms. Why 3? I mean, a team gets boom and execute. I know they earned it if they got it, but it's they get boom, and it's there's the round. Even if it's still 4s, 4v4. It kills me. And it's so effective now with the splash damage. It's really you hit next to him, just dead. You don't even have to really be that on point with it. I don't know. It is what it is. But it could be way worse, so whatever.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's fine.
Kenny, it's cool if I post that interview with Pete in the chat, right? I'm about to post
of
that
course. Go ahead. This is actually my buddy Vaughn Whiskey. He actually helps me out a lot of stuff. He asked a good question. If they released a classic map pack, what maps would you pick? Me?
Oh man, that's an awesome question. Thanks.
Great
I always
question.
love thinking about old maps.
Yes. War Machine.
Yep.
Right off the
Pick my
bat.
favorite.
Give me War Machine, damn it. Give me
It has to be my number one because
War Machine like GAL 1 though, not whatever that was with GAL 2, because
they ruined it. What was it? It was just
too spaced out.
They messed up all the the cover and stuff was just sticky all over the place.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
collision, there's collision sticking out in stupid spots where you get caught on stuff. It was rushed, I think.
Yeah, I just I want that good old War Machine feeling again. I love that. That was
Can you imagine being
the
at
most
Troika and
balanced.
just being able to jump down and not having only 2 steps to get out,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
On that note,
the whole map will change. War Machine would just be sick. Obviously, everyone's going to probably say canals. Imagine grabbing a sniper and just jumping down to the water. No more ninja backflips to get you where you got to go. So, I mean, canals would be crazy. Any other maps you guys are huge fans of? War Machine's my favorite map ever.
War
so.
Machine, Gears 2.
Sanctuary.
Yeah.
Sanctuary would have been sick.
Sanctuary?
Be able to drop down from that top level to the middle level, and then from the middle level to the bottom level.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that would be a little nuts.
Yeah.
And it's segmented enough where you don't get shot the moment you spawn in the respawn game types. Could be good.
Some people are saying Pavilion as well.
Yeah. I was never really crazy about that map.
Like Pavilion, would like Pavilion's like, I don't think it would be better. Maybe just I don't know. I don't know how. Well, we don't have Jacinto in this game. We had it in the last game, the redone version of that.
I think it would play better. I think Jacinto would be playable in Judgment because there is elevation.
Yeah,
and
it'd be
there is the potential of, vertical play. So any map that has that would probably play pretty good in Judgment.
That new version of Jacinto, I wouldn't use the old version. The new one was good.
Right.
Yeah, the new one was really good. I loved how they added those extra lanes to go through the spawn right to mortar and all that. Like there was none of those hop-ups you had to deal with. You just ran right in.
Yeah.
It was a lot better.
How do you think Mansion would play out?
Mansion.
It's so like, I feel like it wouldn't have so many of those jump points. I feel like Mansion right now would play very, very similar to how Haven plays. Haven's, there's not, you know what I mean, Kenny? There's not like many areas you could jump down. There's only like a few.
Yeah.
I feel like Mansion would be the same way. Like you could jump out of nades at multiple points, into Hot Tub and that whole area. And then you have a couple little areas where you could jump down inside. But that's pretty much it. I think it'd be very similar to Haven if Mansion was a map.
Yeah. Now somebody asked, Shawnee Pones asked if, oh wait, no, he asked how vital is the event calendar for longevity of competitive play in Gal Judgment?
How vital is what?
The event calendar.
Oh.
If it doesn't magically link you to a PC stream, it doesn't really matter. Like,
Yeah.
Unless there's some kind of magic thing where you can watch the stream in the game, then it's never going to be crucial to us. Unfortunately, I wish it had been more effective, but that's
Maybe in the next generation of
Maybe.
Xbox. Yeah.
Next gen it'll probably be more
Oh,
useful when they could do more with
You
it.
can probably assume it will be in the next generation.
Yeah.
I hope so, but the thing is also is that the tournaments that Epic advertises, they're going to have to make sure that those tournaments are obviously advertisable. I guess the word is, you know what I mean, that they're being ran properly and that the advertising is good and the code of conduct's good and things like that. Because Epic's not going to be able to represent it otherwise.
Because they added Internet Explorer to the dashboard, but there's just not that ability to surf the dashboard while in a game. So, next gen, folks.
Yep.
Maybe next time you'll also be able to see an in-game stream instead of having to look at a video stream.
That'd be great. Yep.
That way you can also get rid of some of the issues like with stuff happening on cameras at events. Like you just have the game stream with commentary like Dota has.
Oh yeah. I mean, you got to think with Ustream going PS4, you got to think Twitch is doing something with Xbox.
I hope so, man. That'd be so cool.
You got to just assume it's happening. You gotta.
Big moves.
So unless there's anything else you guys want to touch base on right now, I mean, we've been talking for a while. It's been almost 2 hours.
Has it? I lose track every time we do
That's
this.
always the cutoff point. It's got to be.
Yeah, it kind of flew by. I wasn't even trying to make it that long this time, but it just happened. So, I mean, do you guys have anything else you want to cover?
I mean, I guess we could do an overview of the basics of what we spoke about for anyone that, is catching the end of the stream so they get a quick overview maybe in like a couple minutes.
You don't want to make them sit through a 2-hour rebroadcast?
You can if you want.
And that's more views.
But yeah. I think what we can say though is that regardless that I might sound like a negative Nancy with my NJ Halo critiques, I will say this: I really enjoy playing the game. I'm extremely happy with what the developers have done in regards to the game itself. The rifles are the most balanced we've ever seen. The weapon balancing is the most balanced we've ever seen. So that's great. In regards of tweaks, I think we only brought up like maybe 3 things to talk about. We talked about stims. We talked about the possibility of smokes, maybe options of how to make that a little bit better. But other than that, I don't think any of us were complaining about too much at all.
And the melee, a little tweak to the melee. That was
the melee. Yeah, so so 3 things: melee and 2 types of grenades that you spawn with. But other than that, I mean, it's pretty rare for a game to come out and for all of us not to be complaining, too much. Like there's not much to complain about.
well, I wouldn't say not a lot of complaining because
I'm
there's.
just saying,
Disney maps and modes, yeah.
Yes, but in regards of what we do have, like in regards to how that's working, obviously spawns are an issue and not having enough maps is an issue. Obviously, we didn't get a lot of what came with the box. We have to buy a lot of it, which sucks, and it also greatly affects land play. But overall, I mean, it's pretty damn balanced. So I'm a lot happier than I expected.
Yeah, I'm pretty satisfied with it. My biggest gripe is content. Like you release such a balanced game, and then we get like 4 maps to play with, and they're not even really team maps. Like Quinn said, they're free for all based maps, so it's weird. It's just
Oh man.
I don't even know how to like. It's something that leaves you at a loss for words. I don't know what happened. It was like there wasn't the amount of time and resources that they just couldn't do
There's
it.
some awful decision making at some point in the process.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
They could have just brought back a few classic maps to throw that in to make us happy.
Yeah. I wouldn't even mind if they just poured it right in.
Yeah, I really
Something.
wouldn't have minded. Just poured it right in. I don't care.
And then again, we have to pray to God that there's not going to be issues with DLC. Like we don't know how it's going to work. We don't know if we're going to have to spend like there were some people at Hype 2 that spent hours upon hours staying up all night the first night to make sure everything was properly downloaded. We don't know if that's going to happen again. So we have to hope that these updates and that this DLC is LAN compatible out the box, and there's not going to be issues, especially if any of it has to be paid for or you need a season pass. Then how are those going to what the company that wants to run a LAN tournament has to go buy everything now? It's going to become a huge issue. So we have to hope that that goes well too.
Yeah,
Hopefully, support from Epic, maybe.
Hopefully, I'm hoping.
that's huge. As always, developer support. That's what every competitive scene needs for any game.
Yep.
They won't survive without that full-on developer support. They just won't.
Yep.
Unless the game was actually made that well, which doesn't really happen anymore.
No, not at all.
Okay, well, if there's nothing really to touch base on, we've covered a lot tonight. If you guys want to just do your shout outs, I know Yogurt's not here because he's got the world's worst internet, so he died. That's why the cams are all messed up. In case you guys are wondering why it's like that, he kept coming in and out, and then eventually it just gave out. So that's why you got cams all over the place. So if you guys want to go in a circle, I guess Skylar start first, do some shout outs, whatever.
Sure, thanks for having me on the show first. I imagine I'll have Arctic back next week.
Mm-hmm.
Beyond that, just shout out to everyone who's actually trying shit right now. Since I've read some really stupid shit over the past 2 days in comments and people talking on Arctic's Twitter. So it's nice that people are actually trying and giving things some thought before they just bash them, act like idiots. That's all I got.
All right, guys. I'll follow up on that. I want to thank you, Kenny, for having me on. I thank all the viewers for joining today. It's great to be back and active and talking to you guys. Miss all of you. Thank the developers for putting out a really great out of the box balanced game. Seriously, with all the guns and all the grenades, and very exciting. It's fun. Okay. I hope I opened up some of your eyes today. If you missed my Professor Immortal Spawn segment earlier, just go ahead and watch that a little bit on the Stim Grenade, my food for thought. I probably put out more YouTube content this week than I have in my entire life. And I really just, want you guys to embrace the game for what it is right now and give it a shot. I'm doing some TDMs with viewers, and if you want to be a part of that, you can check out my stream at immortalspawn.com. Want to give a shout out to Lang Gaming Gear. These guys make some sick jerseys. Raw Talent's going to be rocking some new swag at the upcoming NJ Halo, so I'm excited about that. Squid Grips and Elgato Gaming, shout out to you guys as well. And thanks again, and look forward to be playing some Gears with you soon.
All right, I guess I'll go now. First shout out goes to 3 people from the Epic staff, 2 currently with it, 1 currently doing his own thing. First is going to go to Quinn. I don't know if you're in the chat right now, if you're still here, but thanks for everything you did with us in the past and always being here, always showing support, even though you're doing your own thing right now, showing us love, and, trying to help in any way you can. In regards to Pete and Rack, 2 of the nicest dudes I have ever had the privilege of meeting. Really, really were trying their best to, really hear us out. We're extremely open-minded. I know it's not easy when you create a game and put so much work in to hear people giving you criticism that aren't, doing it themselves, but the fact that they sat there and showed so much love the entire time and were really appreciative was just awesome. So I feel like the relationship has been getting better than it's ever been before. So I cannot complain whatsoever in regards to anyone at Epic. You know, the only thing that needs to happen is we need to act a little bit better ourselves and compose ourselves a little bit better so that we can get to wherever we want to be. Second shout out is going to go to everyone I met at PAX. It was my first PAX. I'm not going to go through everyone, but all the YouTubers, you guys know who you are. Iceman, Gold Glove, Light Butter, Yami Mosh, and Landon, you guys are great. Pleasure meeting all of you for the first time. To all my old school teammates I met there and everyone else, you guys all know who you are. It was a pleasure meeting all of you. So thanks for showing so much love to me and everyone and just being a part of the Gears community in general. And then outside of that, you guys for having me on the show. Cream, thanks for having me on again. It's always a pleasure. Rob, Skyless, all you guys, putting out the content. I'm waiting for my Vegas to come in. So once I get that and start doing the tutorials, you'll start seeing the videos for myself as well. I think I got a week left before I get it. And then, pretty much just everyone in the Gears community. Keep playing. Don't forget what Arctic said. Just put out. Do the content. Put it out. Make it the best you possibly can. I don't care if it's your first vlog, your first scrim, whatever. Just put it out. And then, stay focused, boys and girls. We can do it. Just keep playing.
All right, guys. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Before I forget again, I have some stuff from Squid Grip and Control Freak to give out. Big
Nice.
shout outs to them. I have for the Xbox 360 controller, and I have your choice between the CQC Freaks and the Viper Control Freaks. So I'm just going to do a quick little roll the dice in the chat. You must be following the channel. So if I click this and your name pops up and you are not following, well then, sucks to be you because you just lost your chance. So let's hit the roll the dice first, see who get it. Oh, too bad for you, Qualls. You messed up. Oh, we can't let him win. All right, Static Bean. You have won the chance to choose between the Squid Grips or the Control Freaks. Please message me and let me know. I have plenty of others. I'm going to do one more right now. Roll the dice. No, why is it like it's picking admins to win right now? Is that real? No. I think it just broke. Alright, screw it. You know what? We're going to give the next one away via Twitter because this thing just broke. That's a sweet app. Whatever. Yeah, it's more like broke the dice.
Just everyone pick a number 1 through 100 in chat.
You can do that.
They'll definitely work.
Alright, number 1 through 100 in the chat. Slow mode's on or it should be on go.
It erases people's numbers.
I can't put a number in.
Man, is this real?
What?
Is this happening?
Yeah.
If you guess 0,
No.
then you win.
Well, everybody wins.
Alright, this is definitely being given away on Twitter, so... yeah. About that.
Come on, guys. We could spell, right?
Alright, I guess that's how you're going to end the show. Stay tuned to the Active Reload Twitter. We're going to be giving out either your choice of Squid Grips or Control Freaks. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Thanks, Skyless, Immortal, Fatal, and Yogurt for joining us, even though Yogurt's internet died on us. And we'll see you again next week, next Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern. See you, everybody.